never any doubt that he was going to greet us with love and remember us. You could see him when you look there, he's peering down, looking, and then suddenly he realizes, yes, this is them, and the body language is love.
Ace?
Well, I agree absolutely. We knew him so well. We knew he was running to us with excitement and love, and we felt exactly the same for him.
But after just under a year, this is a wild animal. He has been in Africa, wild. Did you ever worry that he may revert to his natural instincts?
Because he was so happy, George was doing such a good job rehabilitating him. And he had other lions. They did have problems with the wild lions in the area, but had been so successful. If he'd been frustrated or hurt or hungry, I still don't think he would have ever attacked us. But because his circumstances were so good, he was a very happy, contented lion.
Well, let's go back a year. It's extraordinary, and most people just go, what do you mean you can buy a lion in Harrods? That's just... But there was an era where exotic animals were traded like that.
It was something that is no longer possible, and rightly so. Trading of animals still continues, but for different reasons, because they're spreading gene pools. They're not trading animals so that they've got exhibits. So, but in those days, you could buy animals anywhere.
So you did take pity on him, you did adopt him. Tell me about the pampered life Christian enjoyed in London.
Well, we lived on the King's Road.
We're talking, you know, the late 60s, swinging 60s. He'd drive around in a car?
Yes.
Did he have what sort of character was he?
He had the most beautiful, even nature.
That's a great shot, isn't it?
Oh, did you drive around London?
Well, not very often, no, not very often.
Really, we looked after him very well, and it took a lot of time, and we protected him for a lot of things. And we took him for a walk every afternoon, but in fact, we didn't show him off. And that was partly why it was so successful. We really looked after him beautifully.
What sort of intellect do you think he was in terms of lion intelligence, one of the brightest and most
I think he was smart. He also had, because he had all this attention from us and friends, and look, this is him at a restaurant. I mean, that was set up, but it's fun.
He didn't live like
that. No, that was just a fun thing. But you see, here's someone, you know, and even with children, very comfortable, very safe. People always say that you've got to be very careful with children. He was trusting, and this is his first night in Africa, you know, so thinking about it. But no, he was a very smart lion. He had all this attention. And of course, then he went to George Adamson, the absolute guru who knew more about lions than anyone in the world.
The man on whom Born Free.
Born Free was based.
So
and he said
goes,
he's the one. He said he's a very, very smart lion.
And a man with great experience.
Yes. And he had a very even temperament and was very cooperative.
Is that George there?
Now, that's Christian. No. The last time we saw him, when he was completely... He had mated successfully, had litter, and this is him fully grown, maybe 500, 600 pounds, which is huge for a lion. But look at the size of him, and there he is, still totally trusting with George.
And George fell in love with him as well. George was a sort of lion whisperer, really, wasn't he? He was just totally magical.
But when you went back 12 months later to visit Christian, George had said, look, don't expect too much here. And we haven't seen him for months. How is it that he appeared only the day before? Back in this reserves hundreds
of 450 square miles.
Yes. So he just appeared. Do we take into that he just appeared after not having been seen for months the day before you arrived? Are we talking any sort of telepathy here, or am I stretching it?
Well, people...
Who knows?
Yes, who knows?
Well,
people
that
talk
happened
about
the next visit as well. He appeared again. And he hadn't been seen for a while.
Because one of the big dangers, trying to socialise him with his own, wild, other wild lions don't like people encroaching. That's when they can be killed.
Yes. Well, this is one of the things, when we had the opportunity, look at that, isn't that fabulous with Ace? When we had the opportunity to take him to George Adamson, I mean, George said to us, look, you know, you guys are taking a chance because he's 5th generation domesticated. It's not like Elsa, who was born in Africa and knew the smells of Africa. He was Christian, whose mother had come from Rotterdam, and the
Zoo.
father from Jerusalem, born in Ilfracombe. So we've got a Dutch Jewish lion born in England, raised by Aussies, going back to Kenya. So we've got quite a little cocktail here. And anyhow, he, you know, we got him out there. George took a look at him, and obviously we're rather woolly as well at that stage. Christian had come from winter. He had that very heavy coat, and it took a day or so before George could. He said, "Look, no, he's going to be all right. He's fine. He's going to be fine."
When you had this visit with him, you saw him again after that, when?
Yes. The last time was in '74, by which point
That was you. I didn't go.
Right, but we had another one, but then I went back, and that was the last time he was ever seen, and that was it. He was in the wild then.
And did he recognise you?
Oh yes, still.
Same.
But he never was seen again. There was never any story of a terrible trophy or anything like that. He just went, and it was a complete success.
Because as you can imagine, people are making up things. So you believe
yes.
he was never seen again. He went off into this massive reserve with his pride and lived happily.
Yes.
We don't know
As
how
the
long
king.
he lived for.
No.
Why did you name him Christian?
Ace did.
Ace?
But his 30 years, I said to John the other day, how did he get such a cool name? He said, you named him Christian.
The amazing ability, and I know in the last several years you must have spoken to people with great experience, not only George, other people with lions. Lions aren't supposed to behave like that. Why do you think Christian did?
I'm not sure they don't behave like that. I think they're wonderful. You see, they're a pride animal. If the cruelest thing you can do to a lion is to have it by itself, because it's lonely. If you see them in Africa, they're always lying in piles with all different generations all on top of each other. They're very tactile. And so if you take a lion by itself, as we had, well, we became his pride.
Absolutely. And tigers and leopards are much more solitary, so that would be much more difficult. But we were just his family.
When he got to Africa, I'm sure it was a bit of a cultural shock. He was introduced to another lion called Boy, who had been brought in and rescued.
Boy has a very interesting history because he and his sister Girl were given to George Adamson.
Now, they're interesting names, Boy and Girl. Somebody was right on the mark.